It started when the phone rang. The human 7 all checked their pockets and purses for their cell phones, and it was Sunset who realized that hers was the one ringing. She sighed and shook her head. "Oh, sorry, girls. 1 second." Sunset slid her cell phone out of her purse, hit the answer button, and held it to her ear with her shoulder. "Hello, this is Sunset."
Yes, hello. My name is Legit Collector from the Equestrian Revenue Service. I am calling to inform you that you are under investigation for tax evasion.
Sunset frowned and put her phone on speaker, placing it in the middle of the table the group was sitting at. I'm not totally sure how that happened. I've been getting my tax returns every year. I thought that the... Sunset frowned and tilted her head, exchanging confused looks with the other girls. Wait, did you say the Equestrian Revenue Service?
Yes, I did, Miss Sunset.
Now, according to our records, you owe the equestrian government 9,463 bits. Should you fail to pay this amount, then you will spend no less than 10 years in an equestrian penitentiary. Do you understand what I have just told you?
Yeah, but... Sunset scoffed and shook her head. I'm not in Equestria. I'm not even in that dimension. You've just called an alternate dimension where none of us are ponies.
Oh, Miss Sunset, I must ask that you take this seriously. Lying to an IRS officer carries an additional penalty of 5 years in prison and another 10,000-bit fine.
Firstly, no, Sunset replied. When I was Princess Celestia's student, I read every book I could get my hooves on. Sometimes that extended to tax law when I was really bored. Secondly, if you check your phone, I think you'll see that I'm right. Sunset smirked and pulled the magical diary out of her backpack. Go on, I'll wait.
Look, Miss Shimmer, do not be ridiculous. If I have not called in... what?
Yeah, I'm kind of weirded out by it too. Sunset admitted as she uncapped her pen. I'm also kind of impressed. Did you use Star Swirl's third aerodynamic law of aniomorphousness to configure the flaying meter in your phone? Dear Princess Twilight.
I don't think so. Oh dear.
So, funny story. I got a call from an IRS Scammer today. Well, I hope so. Either that, or you would have to use Princess Celestia's 9th Concerto Blast mixed with an ionized catfoot rune, or else the phone would have blown up in your face and probably taken out the entire house you're in. She's kind of an idiot.
I don't think I did any of that.
As I'm sure you already know. Sunset sucked in air through her teeth and grimaced while the rest of her friends tried holding back their laughter. Well, if that's the case, then you're really lucky to be alive. If you want my advice, I'd pour salt into the phone and give it a good washing. After that, there should be a book in the library about cleansing rituals. It's called Red Hoof's Radical Guide for Radical Rituals, and it should have the info you need about preventing your absolute destruction. Chapter 6, I think. So I thought of a plan.
I'm not so certain about all of this, Miss Shimmer. If, I haven't felt any negative effects yet. Maybe I'm in the clear?
Sunset shrugged, took Rainbow Dash's phone, and connected to the internet. Hopefully. It's hard to say. If things go wrong, the first thing you'll hear is a high-pitched ringing sound coming from your phone. Sunset pulled up a phone of said high-pitched ringing, played it, and held it up to the phone. Sunset smirked to herself and closed the video. Alright, I think that's that. If a mayor comes to a library asking for a Red Host Radical Guide to Radical Rituals, you have your scammer. Best of luck with that, Sunset. It started when the phone rang. Dusty Tome looked up from the books he had been stamping and picked up the headset.
Hello, this is the Philadelphia Public Library.
Yes. I'm looking for a book. It's kind of an emergency. Really bad.
Dusty Tome's mouth creased into a slight frown.
What book are you looking for?
From what I understand, it's called Red Hoof's Radical Guide for Radical Rituals. It's kind of important that I find this book as soon as possible.
Dusty's frown deepened ever so slightly.
Sir, that is not a book we have.
Is there anywhere I can find it? I've been calling around the various libraries and some of them just laughed me away. I need to find it.
Sir, we do not have that book because that book does not exist. To my knowledge, that book title is popular around Celestia's School for Gifted Unicorns as a sort of hazing ritual involving tricking a first-year student into trying to find it for one of the older students.
Motherfucker!
It started when the phone rang. Flim's face broke out into his usual confident grin, and he leaned back in his chair after pressing the speaker button.
Hello, this is Flim and Flam Industries, making all of your wildest dreams come true. Who is the lucky caller today?
Yes, hello. This is Legit Collector from the Equestrian Revenue Service. I am calling to inform you that you and your company are currently under investigation for tax evasion.
Flim's smile froze, and his eyes widened. He looked up and exchanged a glance with Flam, who instantly ran over to the nearby fireplace and lit it with his magic. Flim chuckled uneasily and cleared his throat.
Well, I'm sorry that you think that, good sir. Flim and Flam Industries prides itself on quality and honesty. We also pride ourselves.
Flim looked up at Flam, who had opened up a filing cabinet and torn out several documents, which he began promptly throwing into the fire.
We also pride ourselves on being the best.
Sir, I have documents in front of me here stating that you have failed to pay income tax for the last 7 years. You owe the equestrian government 20,857 bits and 34 cents. Should you fail to pay, you will be sentenced to 15 years in an equestrian penitentiary, alongside having bank accounts, passports, personal property, and anything else we need seized to pay off our debts.
No, surely it doesn't need to come to that, my good sir.
Flim said, levitating a paper shredder over to him. He floated the folders he had onto his desk closer and began running the papers through the shredder.
We can surely come to some arrangement.
Am I hearing a paper shredder?
Certainly not.
Flam called out.
It's just our washing machine.
My brother is right on the money with that.
Flim said.
Although, speaking of washing machines, your reception isn't so good. You sound like your phone has been dipped in water.
It isn't important what happened to my phone. My phone, it suffered a little water damage during routine maintenance is all.
Well, then you're in even more luck than I thought.
Flim said as he continued shredding documents.
Your phone certainly needs to be replaced. There's no doubt about it. Why, I'm surprised that it's even running at all.
It took a little work, but no, we're not here to talk about that. What I want to talk to you about is your taxes. Yes, you need to pay those.
Our taxes are not going anywhere.
Flam said after putting more papers into the fire.
Your phone could give out at any moment.
And that won't do at all.
Flim tissed and shook his head.
Not at all, not at all. But luckily for you, Flim and Flam Industries is one of the leading provider of quality electronics in all of Equestria. Even the princesses themselves have purchased their phones from us, and they said that they might even reward us if the quality continues.
Enlightening, she said.
Flam chimed in.
Really?
As sure as I'm sitting here, we are an honest sort.
Flim said. He emptied his shredder into a nearby trash can and started putting more papers into it.
And it's not just phones we sell.
Flam said.
We are also the manufacturers of excellent computers as well, if you're in the market for one.
I don't want to talk about that.
Sounds like you need to, though.
Flim replied.
Come on, how can we help make your life easier?
My computer situation is, complicated, but I don't need a new one.
Every pony needs a computer just like they need a phone.
Flam insisted.
Besides, if you don't have a computer, how are you going to order our products? Our phones are shipped to only.
We sell them with a 30 business day guarantee.
Flim pointed out.
And that's not to mention the 30-day warranty that comes with all of our products.
You can even finance them at a mere 100 bits a month for 24 months, or 55 bits a month for over 48 months.
Flam said.
It's a complete steal.
Only 8% monthly interest, and you won't find that anywhere else.
I don't know. That seems a little high.
Flim scoffed and waved his hoof.
For interest that low and free insurance, it's the steal of the year, nay, the century. These deals won't last long, so you better hop onto your next balloon to Cloudsdale and take advantage of our generous offer.
If you do it in the next 5 days, we'll give you 3% off on our best phones.
Honestly, you can't afford to not do this.
Maybe. We're in Cloudsdale.
Oh, not too far from the balloon port.
Flam said.
It's only a few blocks from there.
Well, I'll check it out, I suppose. We'll talk later.
We look forward to it.
Flim said. Flim ended the call and took a deep breath.
That was a close one. We better finish shredding these before he actually shows up.
Right on, brother of mine. Until then...
Flim pressed a button on the phone.
Block the number.
It started when the phone rang. Granny Smith grunted and groaned as she slowly got out of her chair, her joints popping and her muscles protesting the movement. She walked up to the phone and put the headset on. It took a few tries to press the right button to answer.
Hello? Who is this?
Yes, hello. This is Legit Collector. I'm glad that you have answered. You see, I have recently come into some money from an inheritance of 5 million bits lately, but I would rather avoid the inheritance tax. If you help me, I shall reward you with 1 million bits.
Granny frowned and tilted her head.
Well, that does sound like a big problem there. I could use the bits for sure. What is it you exactly need me to do?
Yes, excellent. Thank you so much. I will be certain to reward you for your kindness. All I need from you is your bank account number and routing number. Then I can process the transaction.
Well, that sounds mighty fine there, youngin'. Just give me a moment.
Granny Smith slowly walked up to an end table with a drawer, opened it up, and began flipping through the papers.
It'd be nice to have some bits around here for once. I've been in welfare ever since my husband passed away.
Oh, I am so sorry to hear that.
Yes, it was quite a tragedy for sure. He was trying to get a new water system up for our crops, but I wasn't so sure that he was up for it. He was always really stubborn.
Yes, that is too bad. Now, when you find the...
It was a disaster for 1 minute there, young missy. He must have hit some pipe or something when he was digging, because the next thing we know, gas is coming out of the ground. He tried to get you to stop by throwing a bunch of matches down there because he heard something About fire taking all the oxygen out or something.
Ma'am, I am sorry to hear all of this, but I really don't.
Of course, I only found out after the fact that it's an actual fire you're supposed to blow out, not a gas leak. He had to run his tail off to avoid getting blown up. The explosion just about leveled half the orchard.
Yes, I see. I am sorry your husband was killed in an explosion, but...
Well, that wasn't what done him in, young missy. He tripped over a rock a few days after that.
What? Then why did you tell me?
Oh, I got it. A bank statement.
Oh, good. Now, I just need the account number and the routing number.
Granny Smith rattled off the numbers, then put the paper down and began walking out the door.
Hope that helps you.
Yes, it does. Now, I can transfer the money to... Wait! This account is closed!
Granny scoffed and waved her hoof to get Applejack's attention.
Well, now, that is odd, young filly. I should have at least 10 or 15 ducats in there.
Ducats haven't been legal currency in Equestria for 100 years!
Oh, has it been that long?
Granny Smith tissed and shook her head.
My, how time flies. Seems like only yesterday I started up my very own bank account. Put in 5 ducats and 33 cents. But of course, that could get you a lot more back in those days. Not like now when...
Do you have a different account? One that isn't closed?
Oh, sure, missy. Here are the numbers.
Granny Smith put the headset next to the lawnmower. Applejack grinned and pulled the cord. Legit Collector groaned and slowly took the headset off. She took a deep breath and sat up from the floor. Not again, she grumbled, pushing herself to her hoofs, lit her horn, and crossed another number off of his list. I'll get one. I just need one. Just one! She growled and slammed her hoof on the table. Ponyville will not beat me. I'll get the money from one of these yokels if it's the last thing I do. She looked down the list of failed attempts and grimaced. Very well, maybe. She shook her head and put her brand new Flim Industries telephone headset on. After taking a deep breath, she looked at another number and began dialing it. Instead of the usual beeping of putting in a number, she heard nothing. Frowning, she checked underneath her table. The phone was still plugged in. What in the... Legit typed in the whole number and waited for the sound of the ringing phone. She heard nothing. Legit took the headset off and rolled her chair to another table where the box that her new phone had arrived in sat. She lit her horn and grabbed the papers inside. Thank you for purchasing your new Flim Industries telephone. It is the... Legit scanned the paper, flipping through the pages until she got to one about the warranty. We have a 2-day warranty on our... Her eyes narrowed and she tore the paper apart. Those bastards said 30 days! Legit rolled over to her desk and pressed on the button for her new Flim Industries computer. I am going to give them a piece of my... The computer wouldn't turn on. Legit growled and grabbed the computer, tearing it off the desk and throwing it through her recently repaired window. Motherfuckers! Thank you for listening, everypony. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to know when I post more content like this. Feel free to follow me on TikTok, Patreon, X, and Discord. Links in the description. And should you want to join my new nation, feel free to join the Shade Hollow, my Discord server. Good night, everypony.